Tom Shales and Tom and Dick Smothers.
Wednesday at 9 on Channel 2.
Local presentation of this program is made possible in part by the members of Channel 2 and by the following.
It's not convenient when people you count on leave early. 7 days a week. Yeah, we're open. Bank Atlantic.
The Ben Tobin Foundation, in support of education and the arts for 3 generations.
Daily Business Review, South Florida's local daily resource for legal news, court information, real estate coverage, fresh business leads, business news, and employment opportunities every business day. The Daily Business Review, delivering money and power every business day throughout South Florida.
Good evening, I'm Jim Lara. On the NewsHour tonight, our summary of the news. Then the latest on Iraq from Melinda Liu of Newsweek magazine. Some perspective on the rising number of Iraqi civilians being killed. Campaign speeches today by President Bush and Senator Kerry on the jobs issue. A look with Andrew Kohut at the latest polls on the candidates and the issues of Iraq, the economy, and abortion. And a report on the effort to cope with rape within the U.S. military in Iraq.
Major funding for the NewsHour with Jim Lehrer has been provided by
See it start. See it grow. See it develop. See it questioned. See it considered. See it evolve. Change. Adapt. And finally, see it succeed. Need financing for your idea? At CIT, we see what you see.
And by the SBC companies, 125 years of sweat, of building networks, of getting the job done. After 125 years, we are just getting started. SBC, going beyond the call.
and by the Archer Daniels Midland Company.
This program was made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
A large explosion destroyed a building in Baghdad today, and a major firefight broke out in Fallujah. 2 U.S. soldiers died in the Baghdad blast, and 5 more were wounded. Several Iraqis were hurt as well. A military spokesman said the troops were searching a building for chemical munitions when it happened. He would not elaborate. Cheering Iraqis gathered at the scene and looted the soldiers' vehicles. To the west in Fallujah, rebels used a mosque as a base to attack U.S. Marines. The Marines fought back and called in helicopter gunships. 1 coalition serviceman was killed and at least 8 were wounded. Their nationalities were not confirmed. Despite the violence, a U.S. military spokesman said a peaceful solution is still possible.
The end state remains restoring Iraqi control into the city of Fallujah. We have not been pushed aside from that intent, have not been pushed aside from that end state, and we will do that through negotiations, we will do that through a political track, or we will do that through force of arms, but it will be done.
On Sunday, U.S. officials put off plans to launch a new offensive in Fallujah. Instead, Marines are set to begin joint patrols there tomorrow with Iraqi security forces. We'll have more on the situation in Iraq right after this news summary. A top terrorist suspect took responsibility today for Saturday's attack on Iraqi oil terminals. The claim by Abu Musab Sakawi appeared on an Islamic website. He's been linked to al-Qaeda. In the attack, 3 suicide boat bombs exploded off Basra. 2 U.S. Navy sailors and a Coast Guardsman were killed. U.S. troops began arriving at a base in Najaf today to replace departing Spanish troops. A militant Shiite leader, Muqtada al-Sadr, and his followers are holed up in the city. U.S. forces will take over all of Najaf province and a neighboring province at the end of May. They'll move in as soldiers from Spain, Honduras, and the Dominican Republic leave Iraq. An Arab television channel aired new video today of 3 Italian hostages in Iraq. It said the group holding them threatened to execute the captives in 5 days. That's unless Italians stage a mass protest against the war. And all 4 Italian security guards were kidnapped on April 12th. One was later killed. The U.S. will send humanitarian aid to North Korea following last week's train disaster. Secretary of State Powell announced that today. The North Koreans say the explosion killed at least 161 people, injured more than 1,300. On Sunday, UN relief workers sent these images over a video phone. Other witnesses reported nearly half the dead were children in a school building. In Washington today, Powell said there's no link between the U.S. offer and talks on North Korea's nuclear program.
This is a humanitarian catastrophe that has befallen the people of North Korea. And the United States is offering it in that spirit and in that spirit alone. We believe that there is a sufficient basis to hope and expect that the 6-party talks will get underway again and that the North Koreans will see it in their interest to do that separately and distinct from this humanitarian issue.
China sent truckloads of tents, blankets, and food on Sunday. South Korea also offered to help, but it was unclear if North Korea would open its southern border to receive the aid. In the U.S. presidential race, Vice President Cheney attacked Democrat John Kerry today on Iraq. He said Kerry had supported the removal of Saddam Hussein years ago. The Bush-Cheney campaign also aired new ads painting Kerry as weak on national security. Democratic Party leaders fired back, saying the ads were misleading and ought to be pulled. Local police said today more than 750,000 people participated in yesterday's abortion rights rally in Washington. Speakers condemned President Bush for his anti-abortion stance, and they urged activists to vote. We'll have more on the abortion issue later in the program. Cosmetics pioneer Estee Lauder died over the weekend. She suffered a heart attack on Saturday at her home in New York City. In the 1930s, Lauder began selling face creams in beauty salons and on New York City streets. In 1998, Time magazine named her one of the 20th century's most influential business leaders, the only woman on that list. Estee Lauder was 97 years old. On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 28 points to close below 10,445. The NASDAQ fell 13 points to close below 2037. And that's it for the news summary tonight. Now it's on to Today in Iraq, civilian casualties, Kerry and Bush on jobs, the latest polls, and rape in the military. Today in Iraq, Terrence Smith talked by phone this evening to Melinda Liu of Newsweek magazine in Baghdad.
Melinda Liu, thanks for joining us. Give us the latest, if you will, on the situation in Iraq and particularly in Baghdad, where you are now.
The big news in Baghdad was a rather unusual incident, which remains a little bit mysterious, I've got to say right now. A number of